Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Way I See It. And this is a new documentary from director Dawn Porter about Pete Souza, who was the former official White House photographer. And this film is produced by MSNBC, which honestly can give you a certain idea of the kind of leaning and, I guess, framing that you're going to see in this documentary in terms of perspective. And Souza was once, he was the photographer for Reagan, he was the photographer for President Obama, and now he's basically writing books and using his work to fight against President Trump. And I have a lot of different kinds of feelings about the film. Speaking of from a technical standpoint, the film moves along in a well-paced manner. It's well shot. I think it really utilizes the still photography of Souza and other photographers of presidents and stuff like that to show a different side of things and to paint a particular picture. There's sequences throughout the film that are really moving. Some of the interviews that really capture the personability and the human connection that President Obama had with people is moving. There's a scene about Sandy Hook, and there's different situations that do hit emotionally. And the end of the film really focuses on photography capturing the Black Lives Matter movement and things going on with COVID, and that from the artfulness of the photography is moving and really evocative of what it's trying to say. In terms of from a documentarian standpoint, there's parts of this film, so Souza obviously is very, very biased. And he explains it himself, he's not partisan in terms of parties. He has a very specific look on what the presidency should be and how you should photograph the president in a historical context. And those are some of the more interesting aspects of this film, is laying out the historical context of what photography should mean for the presidency. Because you do see Reagan and Clinton and the Bushes and Obama behind the scenes, and you see them be human beings. And it's a very different thing where you never see any of that kind of stuff with President Trump. All the photos you see are very staged, they're very particular. They're meant for publicity and not trying to capture who this man really is. And Souza has his thoughts on that, and I think that's something intriguing that he brings to the table. In terms of, basically, this film really does turn into just a love letter to President Obama. And it's very black and white. It's President Obama is great. Everything about him is great, and doesn't really, because it's interesting, at the beginning of the film, it shows him doing photographs of Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan, and showing those nicer moments and how caring of a human being he was. But he showed his flaws. And there's moments where he got caught up in things and showed him worried and stressed out and showing remorse for things that he did that were wrong or might not have been the best decision, because Souza tries to portray things, Porter, the director, tries to portray a president as a decision maker. And then you get to Obama and everything is positive. There's no even looking at something that he might have done that wasn't popular. And I feel the film is weakened by the fact that you're just for how much the film talks about him being just a person and a caring person, you put him up on a pedestal where he seems less human because there's no flaws there. And I feel that's where the biases really come into the film. And I feel that takes it away. And there's just a lot of really low-hanging fruit and constant jabs and jabs and jabs and jabs in the middle of so many different aspects of the film, specifically directed at President Trump. Whether you agree with what he's saying or not, which I'm not going to get into that, I just feel it cheapens what you're trying to say when you're trying to make backhanded little jabs at somebody else when you're trying to make a point in a documentary. And from a film perspective, the extreme biases and some of those misplaced kinds of jabs that break up the focus of the film, they come off as something that's taking away from the film. But there's still a lot to offer in the way I see it. And in general, I think this is a really quality documentary. I think you could get a lot out of it, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, from like historical context and understanding photography and the importance of documenting history through this photography. So in the end, I feel like this film could have been deeper and more intriguing if it painted things in a little bit grayer way. But what it does portray and the messaging it does have that hits on the importance of photography or the role as a president as a decision maker and leader, and trying to paint them as three-dimensional people, I think the film does succeed in many of those things. But in general, I think this is a quality documentary. It's on Peacock right now, so if you want to go check it out, it's there to stream. If you are not a fan of President Obama, you're probably not going to like this, because, like I said, it's basically a love letter, most of the film, to President Obama. And I have a feeling if you're a big Trump supporter, you're probably not going to like this either, because there's a lot of biting commentary in it. But I think it's still worth it for some of the things it does bring to the table. But those are my thoughts on the way I see it. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.